Hey there y'all, namaste. Well, today let's discuss on the topic on democracy. Today's topic is related to that of the current situation that has taken place in the country of Nepal. So what has pushed the people to the edge or to the brink that thousands of youths have come out in protest against the incumbent government or against the ruling government in the country of Nepal and has led to the downfall of the government? What is the difference between a democratic country from that of a monarchical country or a country that is ruled by a monarch or a king? In fact, some of you may be wondering if protest is legal in a democratic country. Well, to answer some of these questions or to answer this burning question, we need to first have a crucial understanding of the topic on democracy. We'll keep the discussion of the events of Nepal for the later phase of the video. Well, what is democracy? Democracy is derived from the Greek term demokratia. Demo meaning people and kratia meaning to rule. Well, the world's first known democracy existed in the Greek city-state of Athens around the 5th century BC. Now we are living in the 21st century, which means democracy have come existing since time immemorial. Well, now, what is the definition of democracy? By the term democracy, we mean the form of government where the people elect their representative and vote for them to make laws, to enact policies, or to take decisions. Or it is a system where the government is elected by the people. In a democratic country, the people are the sovereign, which means the power or the authority resides with the people or with the representatives that the people have voted for. Well, there are certain characteristics of a democratic country as well, or certain principles. To name a few, number one is the presence of the rule of law. Rule of law here meaning equality before law and equal protection of law, which means that all the citizens of the country are treated equally before the law. Even the government and its officials are not exempted from it. Well, every citizen of the country, regardless of your social status, regardless of your social standing, the caste you belong, your class, your ethnicity, the religion that you follow, the rule applies to everyone equally. Well, number second is the existence of fundamental rights. Fundamental rights here means those basic rights which are laid down for the citizens of the country to enjoy. Fundamental rights are important for an individual to live a dignified life. Also, fundamental rights are important for the development of the personality of an individual. To name a few, for example, here, under fundamental rights, we have freedom of speech and expression. Every individual in a democratic country has the right to exercise their freedom of speech and expression. They have the right to put forth their grievances when they feel that injustice has been meted out to them or when they feel that injustice is happening in the society. Number second is freedom of association and organizations. Again, in a democratic country, every citizen of the country has the right to form assembly or form association peacefully. Well, the number third point is the freedom of religion. Well, India is a secular state where every individual has the freedom to follow any religion of their choice, and the government or its authority or any official cannot restrict an individual from practicing the religion of their choice, or they cannot restrain an individual from following the religion of their choice. Well, the next is free and independent judiciary. Judiciary comprises of members like the Chief Justice, judges, advocates, lawyers of the Supreme Court, the High Court, district courts, session courts, law adalats or tribunals. And it's very essential that in a democratic country, there should be free and independent judiciary because they are the watchdog and protector of the rights of the citizens of the country, and they uphold the constitutional principles and the constitutional values. And therefore, it is essential to ensure the independent functioning of the judiciary without interference from the executive and the legislature. The next point is free and independent press. It is very essential that in a democratic country there is free and independent press. It also forms as a fourth pillar of democracy. They also act as a conduit between the government and the people. Therefore, it is very essential that the press or media of all the country should give unbiased and factual reporting, because public opinions are shaped by them, and therefore people should be able to make informed decision. Well, these are some of the few characteristics of a democratic country. Now, let's also discuss about the disadvantages of a democratic country. Again, to name some few, number one is corruption, high cases of corruption. Number second is instability, and the number third is slow and sluggish process. So the number second point is instability. During the time of election, multi-parties come together to form a coalition or an alliance where they pull in their votes together so that they get elected to form a government or a ruling party. Well, during this time, we know for the fact that every party wants the best portfolio or wants the best position for their parties. So if they can't come to a consensus regarding certain decision making, then any party at any point of time can pull out, leading to the fall of the government or instability of the government. If not, at the later stage of the coalition party or at the later stage of the coalition government, if again there are certain policies, certain decisions to be made where they do not meet eye to eye, then any party can pull out again from the government, leading to the downfall of the government again. The number third point is slow and sluggish process. Again, in a democratic country, decision cannot be taken at a whim, or it cannot be taken at an instant. There are various rules, procedures, formats under which it needs to undergo. There is also consultations, compromises, debates, and meetings for a decision to be taken. Well, in the political sense of the term, if there is a bill that is introduced to become an act, it needs to undergo through the two houses of the parliament, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. And at times, the bill can take from few days to weeks to months to years, or it can remain indefinitely pending. That is why a democratic country is called as a slow and sluggish process, because of the vast amount of time it takes. Well, now coming to the discussion of the state of Nepal, we know that again there are various factors which have given rise to the protest that has taken place in the country. Number one is corruption, number second is high rate of unemployment, and number third is economic disparities. Well, the people has come out peacefully to protest in terms of thousands, especially the youths. But what the government did was suppress the people through military use of force. And he tried suppressing the voices of the people, which is an impossible thing to do, because the government is elected by the people. The government is in power because the people have vested their power to him, because they have trusted him, and therefore the government needs to be held accountable. He needs to be transparent in all his activities. Instead, what did he do was diverting the public fund, misusing the taxpayers' money, all for his personal gains and to meet his selfish interest. And therefore, the people were not having it. And that is what happens in a democratic country, when the government is no longer competent. And that has led to his downfall. And now eventually, the government has resigned, which is evident once a government becomes so corrupted that he does not listen to the grievances of the people and does not look into the deplorable conditions of his people. Where the number second is regarding the high rate of unemployment. Well, from the various mainstream media or news channel that we have seen, there's been report that there's been mass migrate of the people of Nepal abroad, fighting in wars, recruiting themselves in Russia to fight at the forefront of the war, to support their families back at home. Well, this has also aggravated the people emotionally and have led to the resentment of the ruling government at that time. Because their kids or the kids of the governments and its officials have been flaunting their wealth. They have been going abroad vacationing, while majority of the masses of the people are in dire situation, and the government is not paying any heed. Rather, to add up to the anger of the people, the government has been trying to do what is called curbing social media. at this age and time, which is an impossible thing. And therefore, the people were not having it again, because the people were voicing their resentment in the social media. They were sharing their views amongst themselves in the social media, which the government was trying to curb, thinking that curbing the voice of the people would bring forth a solution. But that's not how it functions in a democratic country. And therefore, eventually, the people came out in protest, not only because of the ban of social media, but against the government, because the government has not been acting up to his promises, and he has not been carrying out his duties dutifully. Well, again, the number 30 is regarding the economic disparities, the vast economic disparities that has been prevalent or evident amongst the masses of the people in Nepal and amongst the elites of Nepal. While on the other hand, again, we have seen that the rich are becoming richer, the poor are left to fend for themselves. They are becoming poorer. And who is responsible for it? The government, who is elected by the people. Therefore, this is a message that needs to be passed out to all the governments across the world, that it is the people that have vested them the authority with, and they need to be accountable to the people. They need to listen to the people. If not, there can be always another government or another individual or another candidate who is more competent that can be always put in power. Therefore, remember, to all my viewers watching this video, that you hold immense power, and your one vote can always make a difference. Well, thank you for watching my video, and see you in the next video. Bye-bye.